morning. I'm Rose from Grandma Rose's Open Pantry, and today we're going to try to make some soup. I've made this before. I've not made this particular soup. I never make my soup the same way, ever. It's what's in my fridge, and it's how I have to, like, I use heavy cream. This is going to be a white soup. Sometimes I call it 3 cheese soup because I got 3 different kinds of cheese in it. I'm putting sun-dried tomatoes, so it's according to what I put in it as to what I call it. I don't know what I'm going to call this one yet.
But the basics are the same.
The basics are the same. Today I've got some, it's really orange, but it's kind of an orangey red sweet pepper. I've got carrots, I've got celery, I've got onion. Now when I make a white soup, like with heavy cream and milk and chicken broth, usually this is what I put in mine. And okay, today, and I'm going to put some sun-dried tomatoes. Now these sun-dried tomatoes are ones that I dried myself a couple of years ago, and I've had them in the refrigerator.
I growed them.
Yep, Roy grew them.
I growed them.
A lot of these are like your little tomato tomatoes because they're really small, but I have chopped them up really small. And in my pot, the way I'm going to start this, I'm going to, you can come over here, honey.
Okay.
I'm going to add some chicken stock, chicken broth, and I'm going to measure it for you to let you know about how much that I'm going to put in it. Because this was not a full carton. So it's going to be about 2 cups.
Isn't it amazing? Even after you eat the chicken is still giving broth.
Okay.
Chickens are so giving.
All right, I'm going to turn my heat on medium high. And in this, I'm going to cook my vegetables. I'm not going to put my sun-dried tomatoes in yet, but I'm going to put my veggies in, and I'm going to cook them until they get tender. And that'll take probably 5, 6, 7 minutes, something like that. So, and today I always use heavy cream in my white soups, and I didn't have any. So I have some heavy cream powder. I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen this. I found it on Amazon. It's by Hoosier Hill Farm. And 3/8 of a cup. I think I've got this right. Let me see. It's the first time I've ever used this for this particular thing, so I'm hoping it's going to work. It says 3/8 of a cup of powder with 1 cup of water. Let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. But I didn't do that because I just decided to make the soup. So I put, I'm making 2 cups of heavy cream. So I put 2 3/8 of a cup of powder, and then I put 2 cups of milk with that.
Could you use evaporated milk if that's what you had?
I guess you could, but evaporated milk has such a stronger flavor than what heavy cream does. And then I put it in my blender because when you mix it with water like that, it tells you to put it in the blender because it has little knots all in it. So I put it in my blender, and I blended it real good, and now it's smooth. You can see, right? It looks just like milk.
Looks like milk.
But before that, it had just little knots all in it. So I was trying to get out of having to get my blender out from under the cabinet and do all that, and I said no, because if I don't do it, I'm gonna have little knots all in my soup, and I didn't want that. So now in this, I am going to add. I'm not going to measure salt because this is just to your taste. Pepper and garlic.
And you do your final tasting at the end anyway, don't
you? All right, there's garlic and
salt, pepper, garlic.
Salt, pepper, garlic. That's all I'm going to put in it right now. And I'm going to let this come up to cook to a boil, and I'm going to let it cook for like 5 or 6 minutes. And
you're not really wanting to soften it, are you?
I am wanting to soften it.
You are wanting to
because once I put everything else in it, it's not going to cook very long.
Okay.
It's not going to cook for like 15 minutes.
Right.
All right. I am using today cannellini beans, and they are cannellini beans are just white kidney beans. I'm using those, and when I make a white soup like this, I always use beans. Great Northern beans, I'm using those, and I always leave my liquid in it because to me, there's a lot of nutrients. A lot of people will drain this and rinse them. Now I rinse my black beans because they have the juice and they turn everything so dark. But everything else that I use from a can, usually I try to use the liquid in it because there are a lot of nutrients in that liquid. And I'm using some cream of chicken soup that I made a couple of days ago, homemade cream of chicken soup. And I've got my cheese over here and chicken. And I have just a little bit of Alfredo sauce right here that I made the other day. So I'm going to add that. Some of the, it's just probably a half a cup. I'm going to add that. So when I make this soup, it's like when I make all other soups. What's in the fridge, I take it out, see if I can use it. And I've also got a cup of sour cream here.
Well, when you do this 3 cheese, you normally have some Alfredo sauce to put in it. Is that right?
Sometimes. Sometimes I do. It's just,
but it really makes it good. The Alfredo,
it does.
And you can do it in a can from the store, but she made this herself. The other thing is this is very low carb load. These beans, don't let them scare you. They are very low carb.
So that's the reason I use beans. I don't use potatoes. Now, the ones of you out there who eat potatoes, you could put potatoes in here. I put beans because I don't eat the potato, but I do eat the beans. Like Roy said, it's low carb load, so I can have it the way I eat. So I'm going to let these veggies come up. I'm going to let them cook about 5 minutes. We're going to come back, and then we're going to put all this together. See you in a minute. Ready? We've had 2 false starts here, so. All right, my vegetables have gotten tender. Now, this is my cream of chicken soup, my homemade cream of chicken soup. It's been in the refrigerator, so it's kind of thick, but that's okay. And I've shown y'all before how I make my cream of chicken soup, but I'll put it in the description box. You just make it with chicken broth and chicken base, cornstarch, and just a little chicken, salt and pepper. And it's really, really good.
It is good.
Okay, so I'm going to put that in there, and it'll melt and dissolve as it gets hotter. Now, to this, I'm going to add my Alfredo sauce that I had, the little bit of Alfredo sauce in the fridge. And if you want it to have kind of that flavor, you can always add Parmesan cheese to it if you don't have Alfredo sauce or whatever. So now, I put my sour cream in with my heavy cream. And the reason I did that is when you put sour cream in hot liquid, it'll knot up. So I put it in my heavy cream and whisk it real good. So I'm hoping that it's not going to do that.
How much sour cream did you put in?
It was 1 cup.
1 cup of sour cream.
1 cup of sour cream, 2 cups of the heavy cream. All right. And that works perfect. So if y'all ever need to put sour cream in something and you're putting heavy cream or some kind of milk in it, just whisk your sour cream in with it and it'll keep it from knotting up. All right. I'm going to taste of it now and see if I've got enough salt and pepper or garlic in it. No. Okay, it needs more pepper. Needs more salt. All right. It needs more garlic. So probably in all, I would put a teaspoon of garlic, teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of pepper. But we like pepper, so I may put more pepper at the end. And it's going to be kind of a thin soup. This is not going to be a thick soup. If you wanted it to be thicker, you can take like a little immersion blender and you can blend some of these beans up. Or if you've got potatoes, you can blend some of your potatoes up. So I'm putting 2 cans of my beans in it. Okay. And I've got rotel tomatoes out here. I don't know if I'm going to use them or not. I went ahead and opened them. I shouldn't have done that, but I did. So, okay, I'm going to taste this. It's a really pretty soup. I'm going to go ahead and put my sun-dried tomatoes. I may not put them all. That's probably a 1/4 of a cup that I just added to it. There's not many more. That was a good 1/4 cup that I chopped up and added to it. Okay. And it's going to take them a few minutes of just simmering here to get that flavor in the soup because they are dehydrated. So, all right. Trying to decide if I'm going to put these rotel tomatoes in.
Make it 50/50. You'd have to wash an extra pot, but Roy washes it.
Oh my, that's good.
50/50. Take out a little anyway.
Take out a little of what?
Of your rotel. In other words, mix some, have some plain and have some with your rotel.
Oh.
Take out a little for plain before you mix the rotel in. Yeah, just a cup.
Okay. But I hadn't got everything in it yet. All right, I'm going to put my chicken. Now, you don't even have to put chicken in this. I'm putting chicken because I've got some in the refrigerator that needed using. I'm not going to use it all. It's not going to be heavy in chicken at all. It's going to be very light in chicken because my beans have all the protein that I need. And so, but I did put a little bit of chicken, and I'm going to make chicken salad with the rest of it. So, okay. Now, I'm not going to know until I add my cheese whether I'm going to put the rotel in it or not. Because the cheese changes the whole flavor once you get it in. All right. I'm going to taste of it again.
I bet it's good right now without the cheese, isn't it?
It's delicious. But it needs kicking up a notch. I think it needs the rotel. I'm going to let you taste.
Ooh, I'd eat that now.
I know, but it needs... My soups are usually kind of...
Chicky.
Hitchy.
Kick you in the teeth.
Yeah, kick you in the teeth, and this one is not. So... But
it's really creamy. My.
Oh, yeah, it's delicious.
That's a good cream
it's
soup
really
right
good.
There.
This is a good... Yeah, this is a delicious cream soup. You want me to take you some without the rotel?
I do.
Okay.
You got my curiosity up.
All right, I'm taking Roy some, but I'm going to put... Is that enough?
Put one more. Now, you still going to add the cheese?
Yeah. I am, but it's not going to change it. It's not giving it the kick I want.
But to be fair, you've got to put some cheese in mine too, don't you?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
I just don't want her cheating me.
Now, when I put the rotel in, it gives it a little color that I love. It's that little pinkish color. Okay.
Oh, that just looks wonderful.
I know. Doesn't it? All right, I'm going to add my cheese. Now, this is 1 cup of Monterey Jack, 1 cup of pepper jack, and 1 cup of white sharp, extra sharp cheddar. I deliberately did not put any yellow cheese because I didn't want it to have that color. I just wanted it to be basically a white.
A 3 white cheese soup. Okay.
So that was 1 cup of pepper jack, 1 cup.
I'm looking for cheese over here.
Oh, sorry, baby.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got you.
I'll put some in it right here.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. There's you some cheese.
Okay,
Right,
thank
sorry. That's 1 cup of Monterey Jack, 1 cup of pepper jack, which has jalapenos in it, and 1 cup of white extra sharp cheddar. Now that should give it a kick right there. That with the rotel tomatoes, and I may add the rest of the can of rotel tomatoes when I taste. We'll see.
And they could use a little hot sauce if they want it kicked a little more,
yeah.
couldn't they? Hot sauce in the background is the way Rose and I like it. There you go. You finally got tempted right on.
I needed that. I need that little extra kick. Yep. Now, y'all.
But see, you can just make this to your own taste. Just keep tasting and keep adding.
Whatever you want, whatever you like, whatever you don't like. If you don't like sour cream, don't add it. If you don't like, if you like a certain cheese, if you want it to go Parmesan Romano cheese, add that. But I didn't want that particular flavor today. So
if you wanted sausage instead of chicken, could you do that?
You can do that. You can use fresh sausage. You can use smoked sausage. You can use ground turkey, ground chicken,
cured ham.
However how you want to change it up, you just make it yours. This is just the basics right here. Now, man, look at that. That, y'all.
You're right. It may not be good, but it passes the sight test. I'll tell you that. And look how creamy it is. It is really creamy on your spoon, I noticed, with that cheese in it now.
Now you can taste those sun-dried tomatoes. And that gives it another dimension. That is really good. All right. I'm going to have to let it cook for just simmer. Just sit on real low and just kind of simmer for like 10 or 15 minutes just to kind of blend all these flavors. And then it's going to be good. And when I do that, I had some ranch dressing some ranch seasoning. And I thought, I might put a little bit of that in it, but I don't want to take it in that direction. So.
Well, I'm going to, meanwhile, have to put mine in the microwave and cook it a little bit to keep up with you.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
You will. Okay. All right. We'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes. And as I let this simmer a little bit. Delicious.
Grandma, that looks fit to eat now.
Come over here and get a closer look. Look at that, y'all. Look at that.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Ooh.
Now, I added another can of beans because it needed it. And so that's 3 cans of beans all together. And I added a little bit more hot sauce. So this is so good, y'all. Look at that. Oh, my goodness.
Wonderful. Why don't you get a red cup?
Wanted it to be pretty.
Wow.
Y'all look at that.
That looks so good.
And it's thick. It's creamy, but yet look at that.
You got some running down the side of the cup.
Okay. Well, I don't want to do that. Okay.
Nope.
It's thin enough, but yet it's thick and creamy enough.
Oh, my.
It is delicious.
And listen, feeding a family on low-carb foods is so easy when you get these soups down and you got 6 or 8 soups that you can cook anytime you want to that are healthy and low-carb load. It's just wonderful to add to the food culture in your home and pass on to the children.
The carrots are still just a little, they're not mushy. They have just a little bite to them. And so does the celery. And that's the way I like the vegetables in my soup. When I have a soup, I want my vegetables to be where I can still tell they're in my mouth. I don't want them to be mushy and just disintegrate when I put them in my mouth. So y'all.
Are we going to show them my version over there on the stove?
Oh. This is Roy's.
Now, we didn't add the what?
We did not add the rotel.
No rotel.
And we added some, a little bit of ranch dressing to this.
Otherwise, they're the same.
Yeah, I'm going to put his right here. I'm going to let him taste the both of them. And he can tell you which ones he likes the best. Of course, mine's a lot. I'm going to put his in the back. Mine's much prettier. Well, if I had known we were going to do that, I'd have put it in a prettier cup.
Well, I'll concede ahead of time because I can't finish off something like you can.
But anyway, take a basic recipe, make it your own. And remember, when you're adding sour cream to a hot dish, it's going to, if you put it in there while that liquid is really hot, it's going to make it, it's going to have little balls in it. But if you mix it in with a little milk or heavy cream or something, whisk it really good, then you can put it in a hot liquid and it will not seize up. It will not make those little knots. So that's two tips I can give you this morning. But anytime I cook, I use what's in my pantry, what's in my fridge. You should do the same thing. So if you will take this basic recipe and just make it like you want to. If you don't have the heavy cream, use milk. But if you use milk, then I would add like a tablespoon of cornstarch to it to just make it a little thicker. But if you're using milk and you're going to use sour cream, mix your sour cream in with your milk, and that'll also make it a little thicker. So you just make it whatever you have in your fridge and whatever you have in your pantry.
I think you told me you could just mash up some of the beans too.
You can mash up some of the beans and make it thicker. That
keeps it low carb.
If you put potatoes in it, mash up some of the potatoes.
Yes.
And of course it'll be higher carb and it won't be a low carb load. But if you're like gluten-free, sugar-free, which this is, because I made my own cream of chicken soup. And so and you can make your cream of chicken soup as thin or as thick as you like it. Mine was kind of thick because that's the way I wanted it. But anyway, this is delicious. I'm going to take the camera. I'm going to let Roy taste of both of them and tell you which one he likes the best. But keep seasoning until you get it to taste exactly like you want it. Kick it up a notch. I did add a little bit more hot sauce to this one because we like it just, when we put it in our mouth, we like it to just, woof, just be really, really good. We don't like much bland stuff.
You can also do little experiments like we did here.
Yeah.
If you're wondering whether it'll be better with tomato or not, then take a little out like we did here. Tomato in this one. Now you get to taste. Actually, both are good. I'm hoping mine will be better, but
it's not.
It's hard to go against Rose.
It's not. I know.
You don't need a cracker. You don't need anything. But I will tell you, oyster crackers and saltines would be really good.
But that's wheat. We don't eat that.
That's just up to, I'm just saying. Or
corn chips.
Corn chips would be even less because there's about 20% less carbs in corn products than there are in wheat products.
Now his doesn't have the rotel tomatoes and it has a little ranch seasoning in it.
You're in danger, Rose. Mine.
Well, it's too bad because we got a whole pot of the ones with the rotel in it. So,
that little bit of
ranch
dressing does make it a little saltier. This is a little sweeter, not sugary sweeter, but just milder. I'm gonna have to give mine a tie. I can't put it over it, but these are just examples of how it doesn't make any difference exactly which ingredients you have. If you'll just think about it and try some of your seasonings, don't add too much seasoning at first, and just keep working with it, you can make delicious, healthy food just like Grandma Rose.
You can. All right. Thank y'all for joining me. Hit that little subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Remember, food feeds the family. Family feeds the heart. God feeds the soul. Put deliciousness back in healthy food. See y'all next time.